Okay, fair enough. Why, hello there. Here we are again. Holy cow. Another Troubadork non-commute show on the 2nd of February, 2024. The weather is a lot better than it has been. I'm using the Otter, which is the brown one. This is my original outdoor ukulele, because the green one, Ducky, is currently downstairs still in its case, and I just restrung this one. This was the one that I bought secondhand at a instrument shop back before the lockdown, and so that's why. And it's been here, and I have not had it tuned. I mean, you if you were here last week, you heard me play the really, really, really untuned one. Hey, good morning. Always happy to be a morning entertainment for our folks on the diametric opposite side of the globe. Because this has just been restrung with the same strings that I use on Ducky, and they're wonderful strings, by the way. These are D'Addario, which is spelled D''Addario, D'Addario, which always sounds like you're about to injure yourself saying it. Fluorocarbon strings. I really like them. They have a nice warm tone. They don't sound like I'm playing a toy, even up on the high strings. And they don't destroy my hands, because a lot of times playing ukulele strings, they're a bit like spaghetti strings. Spaghetti noodles, not cooked spaghetti noodles, but like solid, thick, durable, eat your hand up spaghetti noodles. So, about the knees thing. Yes, I finally got back into the orthopedics place, and I got the first of 3 new sets of gel injections for my knees done. Not going to go into detail. It's actually very non-awful. They numb at the space, they put the stuff in, and then you leave. It's a good idea to bring your own shorts, however. They do have emergency shorts for you to wear, which is fascinating, and no matter who you are, I think the idea of emergency pants is a good idea, and this plan should be enacted on all public facilities, because sooner or later, someone out there is going to need emergency pants. Now, having gotten that far, I have one more weekend of fair at the Kerrville Fair, and it's a 3 shows a day schedule this coming weekend. That's what they could fit in, and I'm okay with that. It kind of feels like I'm cheating somehow, but I will be doing shows at 11 o'clock, 1:15, and 3:30 on the Pirates Pavilion stage, which is the only stage out there that has a permanent roof. Considering all the weather and wind I've dealt with, I like the idea of playing with a permanent roof. We'll see how that goes. I know some of my friends are going to be out there. I know Madman Maverick is going to come visit. I could play his Set It On Fire song if I can remember the chords to it. I have to look that up. But anyway, I'm going to play a few songs. We're going to babble about some other stuff. And hopefully some of you will feel like talking on the chat, because if you talk on the chat, I can talk to you. And this is good. I'm not just background music. I'm also, kibitzing and heckling. We will start with one of my newest songs, a filk, I will admit, but a good filk, about the single most ridiculous piece of gear in the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons book, the legendary, nay, the historical 10-foot pole. And if you recognize, and if you recognize the source of this particular song, now would be a good time to take some ibuprofen for your knees. Because it's based off of a song by Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show. Well, I'm a dungeon dweller, I'm a well-equipped feller, and I carry all my stuff on my back. I got some healing potions and some anti-itch lotions and a sack for carrying all of my sacks. I got spikes and caltrops and some cast iron doorstops, iron rations, got a dozen or so. The one item that'll thrill them and will help me beat the villains is my handy-dandy 10-foot pole. 10-foot pole, gonna find the traps down in the dungeon. Oh, I can use it as a long wiggly bludgeon. Oh, gonna clean this ruin out with my handy-dandy 10-foot pole. I got bandages and rags and a roll of sleeping bags so I don't have to pass out on the floor. I got lockpicks and oil that'll help reduce the toil if I have to jimmy open the door. I got 50 feet of rope and I seriously do hope I'll never find me in a 60-foot hole. But the item that'll thrill me in ravines ain't gonna kill me. It's my handy-dandy 10-foot pole. 10-foot pole, gonna keep my party out of danger. Pole, gonna buy 2 more for my ranger. Pole, gonna vault on up the ranks with my handy-dandy 10-foot pole. One of the things I noticed about this song is it's more fun due to the choruses. 10-foot pole that's much longer than it does appear. Pole, if you put a point in it, and then you got a spear. Pole, gonna vault on up the ranks with my handy-dandy 10-foot pole. 10-foot pole, that's the only pole that's worth the having. Pole sticks out both the front and back doors of the tavern. Pole, gonna clean this ruin out with my handy-dandy 10-foot pole. With my handy-dandy 10-foot pole. With my handy-dandy 10-foot pole. This is get redundant. With my handy-dandy 10-foot pole. And we are underway. And yes, I stole this from Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. It's one of the finest illustrations of a 10-foot pole I could find. Another interesting thing about the 10-foot pole in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, which is where it came from, is that you could buy a 10-foot pole for 2 coppers. On the other hand, you could buy a 10-foot ladder for 1 copper, which means that if you took that ladder, took it apart, and then you had 2 10-foot poles, and you could then sell one of those 10-foot poles, and you could make a profit. That's right, Gary Gygax, not an economics major. So anyway, oh my goodness me. So yeah, I have more mobility, which is going to be fun. I'm going to be able to amble around. I will say this, the Kerrville site is very, very friendly to folks with mobility issues. It's one of the more mobility impaired friendly sites out there. There's just one spot that's a bit more of a challenge to get to, but there are some ways to do it if you ask kindly. The weather, thank you for liking my show, Chelsea and Carr. Yes, Chelsea, I saw you like my show. I can get to the thing that tells me down here underneath all of this scroll here, way down here, down where you can't see. I actually can see when people like my stuff, and I really appreciate that a great deal because, it fills me with joy and just gives me a certain sense of validation. I was telling somebody at fair at Kerrville that validation is like our primary cause for, you know, just validate me. I also realized that with the wireless rig that I have, I could actually follow people down the road to like, come back here, come back here, come back here, and see my show, come back here. I haven't done that yet, but I might do it, especially this coming weekend, because it'll be really easy for me to just kind of hop down off the stage, which I will be sitting on, and just chase people. Just, I don't know. It could be all kinds of weirdness. We'll see how it all works out in the end. Anyway, the next song, I do have more songs. The next song is one that has a story behind it. Of course it does. What else is there with my show? Hopefully I will be able to play this correctly. There's a song by Jimmy Buffett, one of the first songs I picked up from Jimmy Buffett, called Honey Do. It's a really glorious little Tin Pan Alley style tune, and it's where I got the thing that I say where I cannot do an impression of Leon Redbone, but I can do an impression of Jimmy Buffett doing an impression of Leon Redbone. And I found the song, and I found the chords, and it was on a web page, and the web page went away about a year ago. And I kind of like, I kind of like got very sad because I couldn't find the chords. So I did some more research today because I had a moment and like was really motivated. And I found a list of chords, but the chords were all wrong. I mean, wrong. If you're a music person and you encounter someone who put chords to a song and the chords are just not right, that little part of my brain that remembers these things suddenly leapt to the fore in outrage and said, no, those are not the chords. You got to do it this way. And so I actually remembered the actual chords, including the return of the legendary E minor chord and B7. And, of course, F sharp. Oh, Lord. So that is what I'm going to play next, which is Honeydew by Jimmy Buffett. Let's see if it works. You never try to keep the wild ones home, but mister, don't just sit there and wait. Go out on the town, making all of the rounds. It won't matter if you're your own date. Vacantly occupied, sat on the beach until my body got fried, dreaming of your pretty eyes up in South Carolina. I can't pronounce my R's and G's when I'm speaking Southernese. Honeydew, honey, coming to me again. B7, E minor, and A. I seen your fat cat's file, 300 pounds, a jive ass smile. Young girl giggling all the while. That's not my cup of chowder. I go for candlelight, cold champagne nearly every night. Honeydew, a little toast for me and you. Here comes the bridge. Brace. Honey, what can you a taking that non-stop train? I'm hungry, and I really want to see you again. I know it's getting late. Waiter keeps staring at your empty plate. Mater D keeps telling me, sir, she's just not coming. Now what the hell does Garcon know? We've been through all this before. Honeydew, a little dose for me and... Here comes the bridge again. F sharp. Where am I? A. Honey, why couldn't you have taken that non-stop train? I'm hungry, and I really want to see you again. Vacantly preoccupied. Sat on the beach until my body got fried, dreaming of your pretty eyes up in South Carolina. I can't pronounce my R's and G's when I'm speaking Southernese. Honey, come and do me again one more time. Well now, honey, come and do me again. Oh, well now, honey, come and do me again. Not bad. Any song you can walk away from is a good one. That was not a bad landing, all told. I'm gonna have to work on this some more, but it's back in the catalog, and I like that. The next song I'm gonna do is a popular tune. Weirdly enough, very few people in Kerrville actually knew of Oscar Hasselhoff, German Master of Defense. I only played this one song, and if you saw the previews, you saw the text of the previews, you know probably what I'm gonna play next. Oscar Hasselhoff, German Master of Defense, and thus the Hasselhoff Ballad, for he invented the Hasselhoff maneuver, which culminates in grabs him by the crotch and throws him out the window. Now, I liked, and he wrote a book entitled Grabs him by the crotch and throws him out the window, available for £5 wherever Oscar Hasselhoff is available or found. If you chase him, perhaps even. Not in a vehicle, that would be dangerous. And I liked Grabs him by the crotch and throws him out the window so much I wrote an advertising jingle for Grabs him by the crotch and throws him out the window, which I entitled Hasselhoff Ballad, because Grabs him by the crotch and throws him out the window is way too long a title for a song. Well, Kelzer, we're trying to bring culture to them, kicking and screaming. I'm not sure if it's we're kicking and screaming, if they're kicking and screaming, or perhaps even the culture is in fact kicking and screaming. And now, happy little children, we will sing the happy little tune, yeah? A song about gambling, drunkenness, and defenestration, yeah? A song which causes me to speak in this insufferable Bavarian accent. Seriously, I want to just punch myself right in the face. Hit me in the face with a tree. It's very, very bad. I was gambling in Helsinki, down upon my luck. Owed a lot to these big Flemish guys. I felt that I was stuck. I thought I was a goner, sure surrounded by mine foes. Then I remembered Hasselhoff, and he solved all mine woes. For he invented the Hasselhoff maneuver, which goes like this. Just grabs him by the crotch, and then throws him out the window. A lovely way to get above whatever makes you blue. Just grabs him by the crotch, and then throws him out the window. It's amazing what a little flick of wrist and arm can do. I always go fast on that first one, and then I figure out the rhythm by the time I get to the chorus. Well, I made my way out of there, and I fled down to the bar. I happily sipped lager, maybe 2 or 15 jars. Some massive Swedish mercenary spoke ill of my ma. I did not think I could escape this peril quite unscarred. And then I remembered I had the informative booklet in my back pocket. I asked the giant Swedish behemoth, Uniminoten, and I very carefully read through so I knew exactly what I needed to do. I grabbed him by the crotch, and I threw him out the window. A lovely way to get above whatever makes you blue. Just grabbed him by the crotch, and then throws him out the window. It's amazing what a little flick of wrist and arm can do. I had gathered quite the crowd by the great feat I did perform. I ordered me another round, for I had grown quite warm. When time to pay the bill came, please for threat, but its well was gone. And so I tried to stand my ground, my fate was quite forewarned. For it came to pass in this very tavern in Helsinki, temporarily between violent conflicts, Oscar Hasselhoff, German Master of Defense, had been hired as a part-time bouncer. Well, I was sort of... Yes! Which was signed to mine a booklet. Well, we had to find a crayon. And then he signed his name very carefully. He spelled it right and everything. Then he grabbed me by the crotch, and he threw me out the window. Well, that was darn effective, I thought as I was passing through. He grabbed me by the crotch, and he threw me out the window. Yes, it seems defenestration works on me as well as you. And now, happy children, would you all sing with me the happy sing-along chorus, yeah? You do not need to know all of the words. Just the good ones. Just grab them by the crotch, and then throw them out the window. A lovely way to get above whatever makes you blue. Just grab them by the crotch, and then throw them out the window. It's amazing what a little flick of wrist and arm can do. Grab them by the crotch and throw them out the window. Available wherever violent books are sold. I always love doing that song, and I have discovered that yes, people will in fact sing, grab them by the crotch and throw them out the window with you. Because if one person is doing something dumb, it's dumb. But if you can get a group of people to do it with you, in unison and in harmony, you are probably at a Renaissance festival. Things I've learned. So, the next one, well, we have now reached the moment you've all been waiting for. That's right, the final song in this week's show. I know, I say that during my show out in live with live human beings, and frequently go, aw, and occasionally go, yay, and then I glare at them because that's just fun. Interaction is very important, and I am always reminded how important it is when I interact with folks in person, as opposed to just doing this. I know that sounds like I'm downgrading playing this, but trust me, this has kept me sane for many years. Doing this chat thing, live stream. So this is a song that I have not done very often. It is a multidisciplinary geek song, for it is a surf punk tune about giant radioactive monsters and the caffeine they so desperately need in order to operate. That's right, it is Kaiju Coffee. I love the song for a couple of reasons, one of which is that it's got a great rhythm. It is as Izzy had told me, as Izzy spotted it, a surf punk tune, and it involves chunking, which is a little known and less understood and even less appreciated ukulele technique, or you can also do it with guitar, where you just kind of mute the strings lightly with your hands and you basically use as a rhythm instrument. Now, okay, fine. I don't do that a lot because, well, it always makes me feel like I'm cheating somehow. But then, too, when you're playing a standard ukulele, you have to get past the idea that you might just be playing with a toy. So, Kaiju Coffee, rising up from the deep. Kaiju Coffee, helps them not fall asleep from the depths of the sea to the city downtown. Kaiju gotta get up and start roaming around. But that decades on slumber is real hard to shake off. What they need is the gallon of that bubbly back stuff. Kaiju, Kerchunka, Kaiju Coffee, rising up from the deep. Kaiju, Kerchunka, Kaiju Coffee, helps them not fall asleep. Just because you're a giant don't mean that you don't got needs. Sometimes some liquid ambition helps you pull from great deeds. You gotta level the city first thing in the AM. You need a tankard-sized latte, get you going again. Kaiju Coffee, rising up from the deep. Kaiju Coffee, helps them not fall asleep. Giant robot me too, and now Kaiju is too. You gotta have a big joke from 10 gallons of brew. Kaiju cannot be fire if the stove is not lit. Shoving the macchiato when that flame will not quit. Kaiju Coffee, rising up from the deep. Kaiju Coffee, helps them not fall asleep. Kaiju blackout pyro. I have no special effects budget, but that's how it would end if I was doing that on a stage show and we had a budget. Wow. Is it really? It is actually really. Wow, it is about that time. All good things must come to an end. And while this may not qualify, this is wrapping us up on yet another successful Tobias the Adequate Non-Commute Troubadork show. Here in the room known as Away, in the house known as Ororoki, in an undisclosed location in San Antonio, Texas. I will be back out at Kerrville Fair this coming weekend. The weather looks to be pretty darn nice, actually. Let's check the weather here now, shall we? Weather app. I have no, tag tunes or anything like that. But the weather app says in Kerrville, it'll be pretty decent. Where are you? Trying to look for the actual... There it is, daily. Haha. So tomorrow, high of 68, low of 45. Sunday, high of 66, low of 44. Wow. What a bargain. So, if you have tickets or want to get tickets, go to KerrvilleRenFair.com. I will be there. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me. Of course, I want to thank all of my Patreon peeps, without whom I would be doing this much less good equipment. That is currently Tim K, Jen, Joe, Austin, Chris, Teppo, Shay, BK, Kaylee, Relly, Lorene, Christina, Rob, and John. The mighty Quigley Finch, the man who wrote Captain's Log, and after I performed it, still lets me perform it. Wow. You can support, of course, us at patreon.com/Troubadork. Oh, sorry, patreon.com/TheAdequate. It's been a while. I've been hitting the head a lot. I am 56 years old, Car. 56. I'm very well preserved. It's mostly Diet Coke. It's certainly not clean living. Unless somehow red licorice bestows immortality, in which case I am set. I am at The Adequate on Twitter, at The Adequate on Facebook, and also at Tobias The Adequate. Tobias The Adequate on Facebook is me doing Tobias The Adequate stuff. The Adequate is me doing me stuff. There's a slight difference between the two. You can find me on TikTok occasionally at Tobias The Adequate. YouTube, it's youtube.com/MPLEGARE. Aw. Well, I appreciate that a great deal, Car. And you tell your firstborn that I appreciate her listening too, because if she's listening, that means that, hey, my audience has increased by 1, which is awesome. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Don't treat people like things. Trans rights are human rights. Y'all be good. You have been wonderful once again. And I persist in being Tobias the Adequate. Thank you all for encouraging my behavior.